Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning. Welcome to the return of the duel, a one-of-a-kind track meet of sorts, pitching the stars of Oregon Track Club Elite against the stars of Atlanta Track Club Elite and raising money for two fabulous causes, the Atlanta Mission and Food for Lane County. We're broadcasting live from Running City, USA, TrackTown, USA, and the UK. And our venues today that you see on the screen are William J. Thorne Stadium at Landmark Christian School in Fairburn, Georgia, and Hamlin Middle School in Springfield, Oregon. This is Return of the Duel, a series of head-to-head races separated by 2,700 miles. Well, hello everyone, and the warmest of welcomes from me, Tim Hutchings, to what is a kind of unique setup here. I'm sitting in the UK. We have reporters in Oregon. We have reporters and athletes in Atlanta. It's a really exciting concept done on a low budget because there's a massive charitable element to tonight's 1 hour program of live track and field athletics that we'll be explaining more to you. And I'm just thrilled at this opportunity because I've been starved of track and field and commentating since February the 29th, those US Olympic marathon trials in Atlanta, Georgia. And it is really lovely to welcome you on board. And I will be talking to you about that charitable donation. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll be able to see exactly what it's all about. Now, let's take a look at the schedule of events coming up. We have a men's 600 followed by a women's 600. It's really straightforward. Then a men's 1200 and a women's 1200 meters, followed by that 2x400 meters relay. We have one athlete for each of those events in Oregon, one athlete for each of those events in Georgia. They will be racing against each other virtually on a split screen basis, so each of them running in isolation. There are individual events, therefore. Now, individual athletes get 1 point. 1 point for each winner, no points for the loser. And in the relay, there are 3 points for the winning team. It's really straightforward. And we're trying to raise $10,400 for charity, two charities benefiting Atlanta and TrackTown, both raising funds for those. More of that in a second. Well, the scoring is really straightforward, and there are our reporters. To the right of picture is Sasha Spencer Atwood. Sasha, welcome on board. Just tell us very quickly what conditions are like at Springfield, just outside TrackTown, USA.
Well, you can't see it underneath this mask, but I'm smiling from ear to ear, just as excited as you, Tim, to get back to live action on the track. There's a little bit of cloud cover overhead. We had a drizzle a few minutes ago, but it's died off. I'd say perfect conditions for the events that were selected today.
That's great to hear, Sasha, because, of course, one worry is that these events with different venues, 2,700 miles apart, you two reporters, Sasha to Jay, to the left of the picture there in Georgia. And the worry is, of course, that the conditions will be worse or better in one venue. Jay, to the left of the picture there in those red colours of Atlanta Track Club Elite. Tell us, we need to know, what's the weather like there? I think it's pretty warm.
It is pretty warm, Tim. Feels every bit like the first day of summer here in Atlanta, Georgia. 90 degrees, and that's cooler than it was when we got here a couple hours ago rather. It was closer to 95. It's been humid all day. It is sunny. We hope as the evening goes on that the temperature starts to drop a little bit. We get a little bit of a breeze, but regardless, it's going to be a toasty night here in Fairburn, Georgia.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Sasha. Well, our first race is just a couple of minutes away, and one of the star athletes is out for this men's 600 meters. It is, of course, Nigel Amos, the world number one last year at 800 meters. He was injured, ironically, right at the end of the season for the World Championships in Doha, but he was the fastest man in the world by some margin, over 2 laps, and had a fabulous season. He lost just 2 races last year, both of them to Donovan Fraser. Fraser, the American world champion eventually at 800 meters. So the pairing for this men's 600 meters involves Amos of Botswana for the Oregon Track Club Elite, the 26-year-old Olympic silver medalist back in 2012 in his personal best of 1:41.73, and he broke 1:41 last year. Can you believe? 7 years later. And to the left of picture for Atlanta Track Club Elite, Dylan Capwell, 24-year-old American. Big fella is Capwell, 6'3" tall. That's a 1.90 m, and he is a 1:46.7 800-meter runner indoors. On paper, it's a very tough call this for Capwell. He's some 5 seconds slower than Amos, but each of them running in isolation. They won't know over this lap and a half of running, 600 meters, remember, what their opponent is doing. Capwell to the left of picture, a big Duran fan, apparently. He says, hungry like the wolf. Well, he'll need to be here because I fear he may be chasing the heels of Amos there to the right of picture. Former world junior champion Amos, World University Games champion the following year. That was in 2012 and 2013. 3 times African champion. And last year, 141.89 to win in Monaco and top those world rankings. What a shame he was injured for Doha. So they are about to get underway, these athletes. Now, Amos to the right of picture. Capwell, 2,700 miles away to the left of picture. And they're away. And our electric vehicles in each venue, I'll tell you more about those shortly, giving us these live pictures. Amos, as you can see, a 44.99 400-meter runner to right of picture has blasted through this first 200 meters. Capwell to the left of picture. Looks like he's going more conservatively at the moment, but it's an awkward distance, 600, isn't it? Do you go flat out? There we are, through 200 meters there for Amos to the right of picture. Capwell certainly doesn't look to be moving as quickly. Can he rally through the second half, the next 300 meters? Amos, tight in the shoulders, is pushing really hard here. He goes through 400 meters very shortly. He's been running 44 seconds now. Capwell to the left of picture. Despite that stride length, goes through there considerably slower, surely, than Amos, who is tying up now. Amos has blasted the first 400, and he's really struggling. He does this always. Don't get panicked by those hunched shoulders and the grimace there from Amos. Although the stride length is going, if you could see Amos there in that left-hand picture, he'd be been getting caught by Capwell. Capwell coming back at him, no doubt about that. But Amos coming towards the line. Is Capwell going to catch him or not? It's really tight as they come to the line, and Amos there crosses the line. I think it was really tight with Capwell maintaining his form a little bit better. I think significantly quicker, quite a few meters quicker through that last 200 meters. And the wing time there, 117.84. Well, I got 2 or 3 tenths slower than that, but of course I will respect the timers in each venue. And Amos, 117.84 to 118.93 by Capwell. So he was just over a second down, Dylan Capwell. He ran really well. It was a perfectly judged run from Capwell. I suspect optimal for him. Amos, well, there is the result of maybe a win, but perhaps a little bit of misjudgment, because I'll tell you what, after about 450, he looked out on his feet. It was a brilliant run from Amos. He gave absolutely everything. And of course, these athletes haven't been able to race into form. The score is 1-0 to Oregon Track Club Elite over Atlanta Track Club Elite. No great surprises there. But Amos looks very, very tired indeed. I wonder if he's in a fit state to be interviewed by Sasha down there on the track. Sasha, are you ready to talk to Amos? Or more importantly, is he ready to talk to you? Nigel Amos there for Botswana, giving it everything. And under 118, all on his own. Thumbs up. It might be sign language for a minute or two just yet.
You went out hard. It was different out here running by yourself.
You don't know what your opponent's doing. Well, Sasha, can we get a word or two out of Nigel Amos?
Is it everything you thought it would be out here?
I don't go fast, but conditions didn't allow me to put 6 less left too fast.
Well, you know what? You raised money for a wonderful charity, and that's what counts today. Thanks, Nigel.
Nigel Amos there, all smiles, but still almost speechless. And over in Atlanta, well, Dylan Capwell ran really well. I wonder if he realizes he was closing on Amos in those last 50 or 70 meters. Jay, is Capwell more able to be interviewed?
Dylan, that was quite a race. You said before the race that to stick with Nigel Amos, you'd have to leave it all on the track. Did you leave it all on the track?
Yeah, I definitely did for where I'm at right now. Everyone knows training's been kind of off since the corona hit. But, you know, I'm happy I'm healthy after a missed indoor season. And I'm just happy to be out here on the track for a good cause.
Thanks for being out here, Dylan. That was a great race. Back to you, Tim.
Thanks, Jay. Well, the fundraising part of tonight's program is absolutely critical. We're trying to raise $10,400. That's a dollar for every meter being run by these various athletes. And the two charities that are benefiting in Atlanta and TrackTown USA, well, half the funds raised will go to Food for Lane County, an organization in Oregon dedicated to reducing hunger by engaging the community to create access to food. And half the money will go to Atlanta Mission, a community united to end homelessness. Atlanta Track Club will facilitate the donations to each entity, and donations can be made up to the 30th of June. So visit the website, please. Just give her $5, $10. It doesn't matter. Visit the website to donate, www.returnoftheduel.org. Takes about 30 seconds. I did it myself about half an hour ago. It's really, really quick. So please do donate, returnoftheduel.org. Well, the athlete's ready on the track for the next event, and it's the women's 600 meters, and that is Chanel Price, the 29-year-old member of the Oregon Track Club Elite. She was world indoor champion in 2014, Chanel Price, but she had an awful lot of problems in the years after that. She ran okay in 2015, but 2016-17, lots and lots of problems. And in fact, listen to this for 2017 from Chanel Price. Blood clots on her lungs in January 2017. In June, she got glandular fever. That's mono to the American audience. In October 17, she broke her foot, a Jones fracture. And in February 18, she broke her foot again, so had surgery. She's battled through. She says now, working under Coach Mark Rowland for Oregon Track Club Elite, where she's been for 8 months, she feels more like her old self and really looking forward to tonight's run, although she says it is very much part of a training session. And Rachel Walters for Atlanta Track Club Elite, the 24-year-old, well, she has run 2:04 for 800 meters, but I think she's a bit of a dark horse. Some of her best times have come in terrible conditions. Her indoor 600-meter personal best from last year, from February, suggests big potential at 800 meters. So there is the matchup. Rachel Walters for Atlanta Track Club Elite to the left in the red, and Chanel Price will be in the green to the right of picture. 600 meters for the ladies. Engines revving. Chanel Price showed great promise as a youngster. She was 6th in the 2008 Prefontaine 800 meters at the age of 17 and produced a number 2 time, all-time prep performance when she did that. Had a great season in 2015, broke 2 minutes 5 times.
5, 4, 3.
Here we go then. The women's 600.
Go.
And away they go. Now, neither of these athletes has blistering speed at 400 meters. But Chanel Price, to the right of picture, again, up on her toes, looking very powerful. The bizarre thing about her win at the World Indoor Championships back in 2014 in Sopot, Poland, was that it came some 7 years after her only other championship performance, and that was when she was 6th in the World Youth Championships back in 2007. Through 200 meters there, Chanel Price. Rachel Walters adopting similar tactics, if they can be called that, to Dylan in the first race, Dylan Capwell. She looks to have gone off more conservatively, but we saw Nigel Amos almost coming unstuck with his flat-out start in that men's 600 meters. Walters really up against it here, though, as with 55 seconds on the clock, you can see Price there coming through 400 meters. I reckon it was around 56 seconds. Now, still up on her toes, and Walters around the crown of the bend in Georgia. She's a developing athlete. Her best times all came in 2018 and 2019. But Chanel Price has hit the straight considerably earlier. And Chanel Price driving for the line. Rachel Walters to the left of picture there. Chanel Price crosses the line. Walters coming through. Well, probably 20, 25 meters down on Chanel Price. A really aggressive run again by the Oregon Track Club Elite athlete. And Price there clearly has given her all. She said to me by email that 127.83 for Chanel Price and 134. Yeah, it was a yawning gap between these two athletes when the finish line was reached by Chanel Price. A comfortable 1-pointer there for Oregon Track Club Elite. So they go 2-0 up. It can all turn around. Remember, in the relay, There's 3 points for the relay. We have the two 1200s to come yet, but there's the score. Atlanta Track Club Elite on 0 still. Oregon Track Club Elite on 2. Well, Chanel Price looking out of breath, but looking in better shape than Nigel Amos. Over to you, Sasha.
Chanel, I know you're eager to get your competition kit back on. How does it feel just to get out here and open up?
It feels good. We've been training hard, so we were just kind of looking at this to just see all the fruits of our training come together. So it was fun.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Back to you, Tim.
Well, I think Chanel Price, when you look at her career, thanks, Sasha, is just happy to not be uninjured after every session. So what about the graduate of Grand Valley State University in Maths and Statistics, Rachel Walters? Jay, I'm guessing you're right up alongside her. How does she feel about that one?
I'm right next to Rachel, Tim. I'm sure she's exhausted. Rachel, you said you're going to have to give it your all to beat the world gold medalist. You put it all on the line. How do you feel to be back in the competition?
You know, it's just really good to lace up the spikes, get on the track and do something fast after all this time not being able to get out on one. So proud of my effort. Nice to get to where I'm at right now.
Great race out there tonight, Rachel.
Thank you.
Rachel, we got time for one quick other question. You love the team aspect of this sport. That's what got you involved in this in the first place. This is the true place to really let that part of the competition shine in a dual meet. How does it feel to be taking part in a competition like this one?
It's really interesting because it's very solo, one-on-one right now. I'm out here doing a duel like this, but there's knowing that the team's behind me. We've all been grinding, putting our heads down all this time, last few months. It's been great.
Tim, Atlanta Track Club down 2-0, but there's still three more races left and plenty of time to catch up.
Well, thanks to Rachel and indeed to Chanel Price there for good running. And thanks, Jay. Well, of course, we are in Atlanta. It's about 90 degrees there. It's very warm. And we have something in the can for you to enjoy from Atlanta.
People of all ages, color, creed, and speed are filling up Atlanta's sidewalks, parks, and paths.
Real hard to beat running Piedmont Park because if you want to run long, you can go onto the belt line. If you want to run short, you can just stay in the park. It's a pretty cool place to run.
You can run in the city, you can go run in nature on the trails along the river.
My favorite part of Atlanta is just the diversity of the run groups and the runners within the city. And the most beautiful thing is that when I step out my door at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm still never alone. The more you run through the city and the various neighborhoods, the city itself becomes more connected and the people feel closer.
We have the heat, we have the hills, and we have the humidity, and we run through that all year round. So tell me who's better than us.
Atlanta is Running City, USA, and I am so proud of that.
Well, the athletes are getting ready at both venues for the 1200 meters for men. And Jay, I understand you are with Abraham Alvarado, the competitor representing Atlanta Track Club Elite, the 24-year-old. He's 6'1". He's a big fella.
That's right, Tim. I'm here with Abe Alvarado, who looks limber, ready to go. It's been a long time since he's raced, late February, actually, so I know he's excited to get out there tonight. Abe, your motto, stay consistent and embrace the grind. But tonight, to race against the reigning NCAA runner-up, you said you got to take it out hard and every second counts. What are you hoping for that first 400?
I'm hoping about 55 to 56 seconds. So first 400.
What's it feel like to get back to competition?
It feels good. Actually, it's been a while. So I think it's just excited to be out here and see how it goes.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing Abe Alvarado run for the first time in several months. Tim, back to you.
Well, Abe Alvarado looking nervous then. Don't often you get interviewed on the start line of a race, but those are the two competitors. Vince Ciatti of Oregon Track Club Elite is the 25-year-old. Now, he doesn't have a 1200 personal best, but he has run 339.6 a couple of years ago for 1500 meters and a 358 mile indoors. So clearly big potential for Ciatti to the right of picture there. Alvarado, well, he was third in the US Indoor Championships, 800 meters earlier on this year. That was in Albuquerque. I was actually there in New Mexico for that one. And he was second last year in the US Indoor Championships, 1,000 meters in Staten Island. He beat both Donovan Brazier, the world champion, and Drew Windle over 800 meters in his semi-final at the US Championships back in 2017. So I think he's a bit of a dark horse here as Abe Alvarado. Vinciati, well, his indoor mile personal best was a second in the NCAA Indoor Championships back in 2018 when he was beaten by Great Britain's Josh Kerr. He was also second in the NCAA Outdoor 1500 back in 2018, where he beat Josh Kerr into third place. He finished in second place himself. He's a graduate from Virginia Tech back in 2018. And a guy with big, big potential. There's no doubt about that. Difficult, though. They won't know what their opponent is doing, although we understand there is a good chance they will be given the splits as they go through, say, 400 meters. In the next 50 meters, each of them will be told the 400-meter time of their opponents. They will have some awareness of what their opponent was doing at the other venue with these sort of split times, if you get what I mean. So at 400, you should hear, just after 400, you'll hear what your opponent's doing. And just after 800, you'll hear what your opponent is doing. Gives them some idea of actually being able to race against the other. So to the right of picture there, at Hamlin Middle School in Springfield, Oregon, a fabulous facility for a middle school. It really is high quality, that track, and it's where a lot of Oregon Track Club elite athletes have been training, while Hayward Field Stadium is being rebuilt this last year or so. And to the left of picture in Georgia, the William J. Thorne Stadium at Landmark Christian School in Fairburn, where it is considerably hot at 90 degrees against about 65 in Oregon.
10 seconds.
Well, the guys are ready to go. 10 seconds. 1,200 meters, 3 laps of the track for these fellas. An unusual distance to race.
1, go. Oh, no,
So away they go. Now, if you're a sub-4 minute miler, don't forget that Ciati, to the right of picture, has run 3:58. Well, you should be able to run 2:55 for 1,200, something like that. Alvarado, to the left of picture, in the Atlanta Track Club Elite colours, looks to have gone off at a good steady pace as well. He had a fabulous breakthrough run at Boston University in late February when he ran 3:36.82, Alvarado. That made him one of the quickest in the world over 1,500 meters. That's why I think when he was being interviewed just now, he said he wants to go through 400, a long way under 60. Well, I've got about 47 seconds on the clock. Watch Alvarado to the left of picture. Tall fella, well built, isn't he? I mean, he's not long and thin like you would expect for a 6'1" athlete. He goes through net there. I got him at about 58.3, something like that, unofficially. So, Alvarado pushing on hard. And those are red colours of Atlanta Track Club Elite. And they need a point from this one. They badly need the win. It's very even, though. I don't think there's much in it. Maybe Alvarado, to the left of picture, in Georgia, is a few meters ahead of Ciati. Ciati, by the way, to the right there in that green of Oregon Track Club Elite, was 6th at the US Indoor Championships 1,500 earlier on this year. That was in Albuquerque on the 15th of February. But this looks really close. It's hard to judge exactly, but they are very, very tight here. I would think Alvarado, to the left of picture, is a few meters to the good. 1:49 on the clock at the moment. Let's see what he goes through 800 meters in. Alvarado blowing hard there in that red vest. And he goes through, I reckon, in about 1:57, low 1:57s. Ciati pushing hard. Now, he's coming up to 300 meters to go. Is Ciati. And there he goes through 900 meters. I got him at about 2:13. Alvarado, to the left of picture, will have been told the time, surely, of Ciati at 800 meters. And as they drive into the final bend now, going through 1,000 there, and about 2:27, maybe just a click under 2:27. Alvarado in the red for Atlanta Track Club Elite. Now, Ciati pushing on hard to the right of picture in the green of Oregon Track Club Elite. The head is down. He's pumping really hard. To the left of picture, Alvarado driving for the line. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be really tight, this one. Surely it's going to be Alvarado. He's led most of the way. I'll tell you what, Ciati took it. Ciati took it with a fabulous last 200 meters. boy, did he turn it on there to the right of picture. And he gets the point for Oregon Track Club Elite, making it 3-0. Well, that goes against the form books. You can see there 256.38 for Alvarado. And is that 253.66 for Ciarti to the right of picture in Oregon, in Springfield, at that facility, that Hamlin Middle School facility, where he's been training most of the time doing his track workouts for the last year. So 253 against 256. That was a fantastic run for Vince Ciarti. And I suspect his quickest ever 1,200 meters by a long, long way. He turns the form books around in that one when Alvarado was expected, at least on paper, to take the points. I have down in my notes, this is a very strong event for Atlanta Track Club Elite. But Ciarti makes it a clean sweep so far for Oregon Track Club Elite. And he is suffering. I don't know which reporter to go to first. I think both the fellas are suffering because after a 1,200 like that. But maybe Sasha. Sasha, can you speak to Vince Ciarti? Or Jay, are you ready to speak to Abraham Alvarado? Jay, how are you feeling about that one? Ciarti, the winner of that one,
like
is
confirmed.
confirmed.
More like a 15?
It feels more like the 1K, I think. Not, it's just not distance, sure. But I think more, a little bit closer to 15.
You knew you were neck and neck with 200 meters to go. What was going through your head?
I was trying to lift and try to finish hard. That's what I was trying to focus on. It's hard, you know, when you don't have anyone in front of you. So it's just you're grinding versus yourself. So new experience.
New experience for everybody out here tonight. Great job, Abe. Tim, back to you.
Well, thanks, Jay. Yeah, I think a philosophical Abraham Alvarado there. Probably expected the points, but Sasha, that must be a delighted Vince Ciarti.
It is. You know, for a moment there, they were trying to determine the times, and Vince's mood changed from one to the other. You were pretty sure that you ran that well. How happy are you to come out with the time?
They just called it OTC wins just now. Originally
sure.
they called it FI.
I would have liked to run a little bit quicker, to be perfectly honest, but going into this, I was listening to a podcast about current events, about Black Lives Matter, and I heard be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that was a mantra that I tried to have running through my head. I just let it slip a little bit that second lap. I wasn't comfortable enough being uncomfortable, but had something left. I feel like I'm really strong right now. So, and you know, it's a little windy in the rain, so I don't want to make excuses for conditions. But yeah, I'm happy to rep OTC and get the win. So it's fun.
Awesome job! Congratulations, and you've earned another point for OTC Elite, and hopefully some pledges for Food for Lane County.
Absolutely. Pledge up. Yeah. Thanks, Sasha.
Back to you, Tim.
Good to mention that charity. Remember, returnoftheduel.org. If you've got a few bucks spare, returnoftheduel.org. This is Oregon we're in, and now we can have a look at a little bit more information from Oregon Track Club. Well, to the right of picture there for Oregon Track Club Elite is Hannah Green, and the reason she's got a tracksuit on is because she had to pull out just a couple of hours ago. We understand she's had a flare-up of a niggle, and she simply cannot take a chance. She was one of the best 800-meter runners in the world last year, running 1:58 a couple of times, had a big win at the Paris Diamond League, and that's very sad indeed. But Yolanda Ngarambe for Atlanta Track Club Elite, the Swedish 28-year-old, will be running in isolation in every sense of the word. There will be no competitor against her in Springfield. So, Sasha, how is Yolanda feeling about the fact that she has definitely got the point, a critical point for Atlanta Track Club Elite?
Well, I'll take that one, Tim. I'm here with Yolanda Ngarambe on the start line. Yolanda, the last time you raced, it was in Boston, BU, last chance meet. The winner of that race, Hannah Green. So I know you were looking to face off with her again tonight. How has your mindset changed now that you're truly giving it a solo effort?
Honestly, now, when they say you have nothing to lose, I really don't have anything to lose because it's just me and the clock. So it makes it different, but maybe also exciting because whatever happens, I can just go and see what I can do, basically.
And if people have watched you, they know you don't give any less than your best. You're still going to put it all out there on the line tonight?
Yeah.
30 seconds. All right. It'll be fun to watch regardless, Tim.
It will indeed, yes. Thanks, Jay. Sorry for calling you Sasha just now. Freudian slip. But Yolanda Ngarambe, well, she is very much a world-class athlete, make no mistake. She missed the Doha World Championship 1,500-meter final last October by 2 places. She ran a personal best of 4:03.43 in her semi-final. She holds the Swedish record for the indoor mile. She ran 4:29 in Boston last year. And away she goes. Of course, the effort that she puts in here should be precisely the same as if we did have Hannah Green running in Springfield, because she's running in isolation here, quite literally, is Yolanda Ngarambe. And she just has to go through that mental process of pushing herself hard, spreading her efforts correctly over the 3 laps. By the way, these pictures are being brought to you by some wonderful technology. Our production team is led by Tim Lay at TrackTown Productions, and just one iPhone at each location is capturing all the races and the interviews. One iPhone at each location. How about that? Just imagine you and a mate could put this together, almost. But also the Atlanta electric vehicle is down to Mercedes-Benz of Buckhead. Big thanks to them. It's a 100% electric vehicle. It's zero emissions. And the TrackTown USA vehicle, well, it's something else. It's another zero emissions vehicle, electric fun utility vehicle, or an FUV, provided by Eugene-based electric vehicle manufacturer Arcimoto. That's Arcimoto, ARCIMOTO. It's street legal. It does up to 70 mph. It's up to 100 miles range, and it costs about $20,000. It looks fantastic. You can see the shadow of it there. I'm sure we'll get a shot of it later on. We saw it earlier a little bit here. But in the meantime, Yolanda Ngarambe is pushing on hard down the back straightaway and looking strong, up on her toes. She has good speed. She ran 2:02 in January last year, and she has pretty good strength as well. 8:53 for an indoor 3,000 in February last year. She's a Swedish indoor and outdoor champion over 1,500 meters last year. And she started running at 15. She wasn't an early starter, but she was doing a lot of soccer and tennis before that in her younger years. And of course, that produces really good balanced musculature. And Ngarambe here, looking strong. Conditions, well, over 1,500 meters, there's nothing wrong with 90-degree heat. Over 1,200 meters, even less wrong with it. And Ngarambe here knows she's got the 1 point for Atlanta Track Club Elite, a critical one to make it 3-1 in the scoring, and then it'll all come down to the relay, the 2x200 meter, 2x2 400 meter relay. So 2 athletes, a man and a woman for each team in that one, with each of them running 2 legs. They won't get much recovery. There isn't a world best for 1,200 meters for ladies. Kenzebi Dababa, during her world record in Monaco 2015, went through 1,200 in 3:04.62. So that might be the unofficial world best. The world best for 1,500 this year is 4:05.16 by Lyndon Hall of Australia. which means she went through 1200 in about 3:16. But Ngarambe pushing on harder, grimacing, pumping harder with the arms to get to that line. And we'll get a clock stopwatch, of course, timing her as she gets to the finish line. But Ngarambe working really hard. It's good to see. It makes no difference at all. She doesn't have an opponent in Springfield at Hamlin Middle School. She has given 100%. And there indeed is the score, 3-1. And the time there, 3:20.97 for Yolanda Ngarambe. She ran really hard there, gets a very solid time out of it. Let's go to Springfield and find out how Hannah Green feels about not being able to participate in that one. I think she's with you, Sasha.
Is right here, and she made the brave and wise choice to listen to her body today. Hannah, you're coming off such a phenomenal breakout season last year. What are you doing in this time to really carry through that momentum that you generated into the future?
You know, I think I'm just trying to stay motivated. It's still exciting having the Olympics next year. You know, you kind of get to do it all over again. So you just let the excitement build. I've been training really well. I mean, just a small flare up today, but you know, I feel like I'm getting really fit, and it's exciting because I think next year I'll be even stronger than I was last year and this year, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity going into the Olympics.
Well, who knows if this is going to become more of a regular thing, these virtual meets. We'll look forward to seeing you on the track, whether it's on the screen or in person.
Hopefully soon.
Back to you guys.
Well, thanks, Sasha. And meanwhile, in Georgia, Jay, Yolanda, has she recovered yet to talk to you?
That was wild.
Yeah, Tim, she's still catching her breath. It was an all-out effort, even though she wasn't racing anybody but the clock. Yolanda, one of the things we talked about yesterday, you said, I've been working out, I've been training, but I don't know what kind of shape I'm in. Any better indication tonight?
Honestly, I don't know what I ran, but I feel like I went out hard. It was easy. That's for me a good indication.
Yeah, thank you.
But then
I appreciate
again,
it.
I was alone, and you don't. Yeah, I'm happy basically.
I know you've had a lot on your mind recently, judging by what's on your arm. How was that weighing on you tonight?
No, not really. I guess it's something, you know, if you've been aware, it's been around.
Perfect.
You know, my whole lifetime. I'm not American, but you know, it's worldwide. So I just felt like someone's watching this. I don't want to take away like distraction from what's happening right now, since it's like the second civil rights movement, but also a global thing. So I just wanted to pay my respect.
I know you're looking forward to another race. Do you hope the season starts up soon?
Yeah. Honestly, I also been enjoying this time to train. I do enjoy training, and the more time I get to prepare, I feel like the better I can do. So, you know, I can wait a little bit. This was like mid-training for the race, so I would enjoy a few more weeks before I actually like race a real race. So, but I did approach it as a race, so that was my best today.
Well, solid effort out there tonight. Tim, we'll take the point. Back to you.
Absolutely, and what a critical point it is. Now, let's take another look at those vehicles. You know, I was telling you about the zero-emission electric fun utility vehicle in TrackTown. Well, we are in Springfield, and massive thanks to Springfield, but a massive thanks too to Akimoto. These little cars, these little vehicles
Can I get you
are
guys to
built
move this way?
in Eugene, Oregon, can you believe? They are fabulous-looking little machines, street legal. They do 70 miles an hour. And up to 100 miles. I think somebody mentioned maybe they're up to 75 actually a couple of days ago. But they're just under $20,000 and rather special looking. And Mercedes-Benz, well, a more established brand maybe, but Mercedes-Benz of Buckhead have provided this vehicle. It's a 100% electric vehicle, again with zero emissions, and is doing a great job for us there on the track. Big thanks to them. And of course, you have to remember that productions like this are a team effort. It couldn't be done without the communities, without the schools, without the sponsors, without the coaches, the athletes, and so on.
Okay.
Well, we're coming towards our final event, and it is the decider with the score lying at 3-1 in favor of Oregon Track Club Elite against Atlanta Track Club Elite. It's the mixed relay, two times 400 meters. So to the left of picture, the Atlanta Track Club Elite pairing is Avery Bartlett and Megan Malasate. And to the right of picture, the Oregon Track Club pairing, Jake Hayward and Sabrina Sutherland. So basically the running order is man, woman, but it obviously means that the male athletes are going to get around, I don't know, 53, 54 seconds recovery before their second effort. And so actually both the male athletes in this lineup are better known as 800-meter runners than 400-meter runners. Well, we're almost ready to get going. They will be using a baton, as they call it in the USA, whereas here in the UK we call it a baton. But forgive my mispronunciation from wherever you're listening. That is the score, 3-1 for Oregon Track Club Elite against Atlanta Track Club Elite. And it's perfectly poised because it all can be turned around by this event. If Atlanta Track Club Elite win this, they get 3 points. They'll win 4-3. Remember, the loser gets 0. It's pretty unforgiving, this scoring system. Well, this is Jake Hayward. He will lead off, the Cardiff man. He comes from Wales. Here in the UK, he's 21 years old. And a European youth champion back in 2016 over 1500, European junior champion over 1500 in 2017. He's got no recorded 400 meters, but he is very strong. He's a 148 guy at 800 meters. And he was 4th in the World Junior Championships 1500 meters back in 2018, behind, wait for it, the Kenyan pairing in those World Juniors, and one Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And that is a very, very special name from Norway. There you can see Sabrina Sutherland, the 24-year-old. She too is an 800-meter runner. Has almost broken 2 minutes. Her best 2:00.72. That was in Sacramento back in May 2018. She's from New York City. She'll be watching Jake Hayward lead off for her squad. She's a graduate of Georgetown. Took a master's in Oregon last year as well. So 1 minute to go. Now Jake Hayward. Wish we could hear him speak and hear that lovely Welsh lilt. Maybe we will after the race. He is fast and he's strong. He's a 3:36.9 1500-meter runner. He did that back in 2018 at the London Diamond League as a junior. He's run 7:55 for 3,000. He's run 3:54 for a mile, whereas in Atlanta, the male representative, Avery Bartlett, 23 years old. He's a 1:47 800-meter runner, a bit quicker on paper over 800 than Hayward, but he's only run 3:43 for 1,500 meters and a 4:08 mile. He was born in Atlanta. He attended Georgia Tech, where he did a degree in computing. He may need to work out here exactly the way to spread his energies in these 2 400-meter efforts to come. Remember, these fellas are going to get less than a minute recovery after what is virtually a flat-out 400 meters. Well, that looks like a pretty early start from Jake Hayward there to the right of picture, but we'll call it a time delay for the moment. The Oregon Track Club elite athlete has gone off very quickly to right of picture, and to left of picture, Avery Bartlett is pushing on really hard. He started this 2020 indoor season with 3 800s indoors, and he's pushing hard, isn't he? Bartlett to the left of picture there. Goes through 200 meters and around 25 flat. Certainly Jake Hayward looking strong to the right, looking very smooth too. He's maybe gauging his effort here and thinking about that second effort to come in about a minute's time. 39 seconds on the clock now, and they're both way past 300 meters as Bartlett comes towards the line, has to hand over that baton to Megan Malasate. Malasate will take the baton to the left of picture. To the right, it'll pass on to Sabrina Sutherland, and it looked very even to me. Now, Sabrina Sutherland to the right of picture, the 24-year-old, is a 56.05 400-meter runner, but she's better known as an 800 athlete, has nearly broken 2 minutes for 800 meters. To the left of picture, Malasate is a 54.89 athlete, although that was some 6 years ago, indoors for 400, has an 800 best of 2:02, and that was a few years ago as well. A breakthrough over 800 came back in 2013, Malasate, in that red for Atlanta Track Club Elite. She's a 5-time All-American at the University of Georgia. And both these ladies, I'm sure, are aware that they will run the anchor leg. They will run the closing leg for their team. And the responsibility on Malasate to try and get this exactly right and push on for the victory is absolutely enormous. As Sutherland, to the right of picture, drives on in the green of Oregon Track Club Elite. Now, she hands over. It's almost identical there. The changeover, I think, was pretty much split even. So this is critical for the fellas. Who's going to go the strongest? On paper, Jake Haywood, considerably quicker than Avery Bartlett over 1,500 meters. And while they're running 400-meter legs here, that strength factor becomes absolutely critical. Remember, 1,500-meter runners do plenty of sessions similar to 10 times 400 with 1 minute recovery. Bartlett is pushing on really hard here. So is Haywood. Haywood driving on there, the camera filming him from the inside. Bartlett has the camera on the track outside him. But Haywood it is, comes into the straight now. Maybe a couple of meters up on Bartlett. This is absolutely critical. Get this changeover right. No drop buttons, please, ladies and gents. Get this changeover right as Bartlett tries to drive onto the line. Now, Avery Bartlett certainly handing over a few meters behind Jake Haywood. I think in the green there of Sabrina Sutherland, in the green of Oregon Track Club Elite, has the lead probably by 6 or 8 meters, maybe more. This is a critical leg from Megan Malasate. She's really got her up her game here. She's very experienced. I thought that experience might be useful in spreading her effort. But she's down at the moment on Sabrina Sutherland and that green of Oregon Track Club. There's no doubt about it. Into the final 200 meters from Malasate. But it's looking good for Sabrina Sutherland and Oregon Track Club Elite. This is a bit of fun. This is track and field athletics, virtual competition. 2,700 miles separates these teams, but Oregon Track Club Elite, with the figure of Sabrina Sutherland driving on towards the line, surely are going to take this one. Megan Malasate pushing hard for the line too, but she loses this one, I'm afraid. And Oregon Track Club Elite do indeed take the 3 points and win the match 6-1 unofficially. Great running there from Jake Haywood and Sabrina Sutherland to secure the points. Megan Malasate very tight in 3:46.24 there for the Oregon pairing. And for the Atlanta Track Club pairing, 3:51.29. So they do lose by just over 5 seconds. But it was a great effort, and every single one of these athletes giving 101%. And if you could give, well, just a few bucks, remember, please go to returnoftheduel.org and donate for the two great causes. Food for Lane County and Atlanta Mission. Well, there it is, confirmation of that score. 6-1, Oregon Track Club Elite take it. And she has given everything, Megan Malasate. These athletes need to get their breath back. A different kind of pain to what you experience in middle distance, I'm sure, when you've had to run 2 4x400 meter relay legs. And Jay, is Megan ready to talk to you?
Megan just said so much lactic, which I can imagine is definitely true after running 2 back-to-back 400-meter repeats with less than a minute separating them. Listen, Tim, we may be the losing team here in Atlanta, but you're not going to see a lot of frowns here. Everybody's smiling because I think everybody is just so excited to have been back to track and field. I know Megan and Avery, before this race, you said this is a terrifying event. Did it feel as terrifying as you thought it was going to be?
First lap didn't feel too terrifying. That last 200 was, yep, definitely up there.
the look on your face, and I'm sure everybody at home could see it, was expressive.
Oh, I know.
This is a family broadcast. What words were going through your head in those last, especially the last 100 meters?
Well, it being a family broadcast, I was thinking, why? I haven't felt anything like this in like 6 months, but I had the heart to, I don't know what that last 100 was, but you know what? I made it happen. I can't see right now because I'm so tired, but I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I don't think it does. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Megan, it was all on you in those last 400 meters. That had to have been a lot of pressure. You tried to deliver, you were close. How are you feeling in that last lap?
That last lap, I honestly tried to black out the first 2, and I knew I could have a self-talk and tell myself there's just 2 left. And we've always practiced that. It burned more than anything we've ever done this whole year, but I think we've kind of hit that hard, that sort of mentality. So if I could at least have the mentality, I was hoping my body would just follow out and follow through. But hopefully it pieced something together.
This is not like the track meet you expected to open your season on, guys. You're all wearing the same singlet. No one from another team is anywhere near you. But did this feel like practice or did this feel like a meet?
It felt like a meet. Yeah, because I mean, there's not many opportunities, and I know we've been saying that. I mean, a lot of people, maybe the quarantine's getting to their head and whatnot, but we kept showing to practice, we kept pushing ourselves in case an opportunity like this might come up. And this was a surprise, and well, we prepared for it. I mean, I wish I would have ran a little faster, but I did everything I could, and I know that. So.
You had a great established opponent in the Oregon Track Club Elite, a great program 2,700 miles away. What do you say to your competitors tonight?
Good job.
Good job.
Guys. Put up a good fight, I'm sure.
Till next year.
Tim, just like they did out on the track, they're taking it in stride. So we're all really happy here to have done this and done this for a good cause. So back to you.
Hey, fantastic effort there in Atlanta. Well done to all those athletes. I love the way through gritted teeth they say well done to our opponents. But Sasha, what about the guys in Springfield? They must be a little bit more pumped.
So they are. They're excited to have the win. And I was excited to see you guys out here. One of the cool things about Oregon Track Club Elite is not only do they train together, they also live together. Being able to pass that baton to one another, how exciting was that for you, Sabrina?
It's super exciting. This is Jake's first time racing, so it was cool to open up his season, I guess, with him. So, yeah.
And Jake, the baton, that's not something that you are super familiar with having to carry around. How was that?
No, I mean, to be honest, like, Mark just said to me, whatever you do not drop that baton. So I was probably more worried about dropping the baton than actually running, so it probably helped, to be honest.
Now, this was really kind of a training simulation. This is a broken 800 for you guys. Did you feel like you were able to get into the competition element of it, knowing that there was a team in Atlanta racing against you?
It was tough. I mean, because like when you're running around the track, it's literally just you out there. And I'm more of a racer, so I prefer like competing against people. But obviously in the back of your mind, knowing that someone else is chasing you, you just gotta give it everything and see what happens.
What about for you, Sabrina? How did it feel?
Yeah, it was pretty tough being there alone. It's much easier if somebody's over there and you're trying to catch up to them or you're trying to run faster than them. But we were just racing against the clock, basically. But knowing that Atlanta was there running at the same time, I think that it still kept the competitive juices flowing.
Well, congratulations. We'll let you guys get cooled down and join the rest of your teammates. And congratulations to the Atlanta Track Club Elite. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Sasha. Well, I just love the humanity of this matchup and the fact that most of the athletes saying they did feel that it was a real match. They were aware that they were competing against other people there. But Sasha, just tell me what your feeling is about the atmosphere there in Springfield. You know, we owe a huge debt of thanks to Hamlin Middle School. And of course to Springfield themselves for allowing the use of the facility. I know it's very familiar to the team there, but how is the atmosphere there? It must be quite a buzz.
It is, and you know, it's surprising because you never do know what it's going to be like without crowds of people. We actually do have a couple of spectators who have caught on to what's happening here, lining the fence. I think the biggest win of all is the fact that these athletes have been together both in Atlanta and here in TrackTown, USA for a good cause, Food for Lane County and the Atlanta Mission. And it's giving the athletes a chance to put on their kits and spike up and really get a taste of what competition is going to be like. No one really knows what the rest of the season holds, but these guys know that they have good, solid training behind them, and now they've got some all-out effort times to go along with it.
Well, all-out efforts as well on a wonderful facility. I know the track surface there is the same surface that has been laid at Hayward Field, the new stadium there, which looks absolutely supreme. I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago who lives in Eugene, Oregon, and he was saying that in TrackTown, the facilities for the elite athletes in Hayward Stadium are absolutely astonishing. Have you seen them, Sasha?
I have. I've been fortunate to be able to see them, and you're right, this is a binding track. It's a track by the same company that laid the track in Hayward Field. It's absolutely astonishing. It really does give you chills, and I really can't wait for everyone else around the world to have an opportunity to see it, and most of all for these athletes to be able to take the track. It's going to be a really, really phenomenal experience for all of us.
I can't wait for it. Those World Championships, yeah, a couple of years away now, of course, not 1 year away, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'll definitely be there. I'll row there if I need to from Europe, just to get to TrackTown for that one. And Jay, beautiful sunshine there. It's certainly not as grey as in Oregon at the moment, but the guys there seem to be almost more bubbly than the guys in Oregon. They've probably got another session to do back in TrackTown, but how are the guys feeling?
Well, it's not as gray here, Tim, but we would give them some of our degrees of temperature happily if they wanted to take it. It's definitely still warm, and you can probably see the beads of sweat on my forehead. But everybody's in a great mood. As I said, the excitement that started here on February 29th with the U.S. Olympic Team Trials Marathon has never really died down. And the running community, the runners, the athletes, and the fans, we're all really hungry for an opportunity to get back out there again. And tonight provided that. Get to put on their singlets, put on their spikes, and race, as Sasha said, for a good cause. We're really excited to raise the money for Atlanta Mission. And same thing that happened in TrackTown USA. We've got fans lining the fence up there. They've been cheering the entire time. You can hear them right now a little bit in the background. They're excited to see live track and field too. So we're just really excited to be able to present that opportunity. And you talk about the World Championships coming up. I know that we're the second place team tonight, but this is early on in the season. It's really the only race we've had this season. And I think we can expect to see some of these athletes there on the start line when that race comes around.
Well, Jay, yeah, I was in Atlanta for those Olympic marathon trials. It was a special weekend. And of course, there is effectively a sort of handing over of the baton to TrackTown USA, who will host the Olympic trials for track and field. Of course, next summer at Hayward Field between the 18th and 27th June 2021. I think today should have been the second day of the Olympic trials, shouldn't they, at Hayward Field? So it should have all been happening in those two different venues for you in February and in Eugene for today. But TrackTown are going to have to wait another year for their moment in the spotlight, so to speak. But Jay, thanks so much. I think what you guys are doing in Atlanta Track Club Elite is absolutely fantastic. Rich Kennar, a good friend of mine, has been a wonderful guide for the building of that, and likewise for Oregon Track Club Elite. Sasha, any final words from you?
We just want to say thank you for the job that you guys did at the U.S. Marathon Trials for Atlanta Track Club. We accept the handover of the baton as we wait just a year out from the U.S. Olympic Trials, and then of course in Oregon 22, the World Championships. We want to ask that everyone go and click the button to pledge their support for these wonderful fundraisers, wonderful causes that these athletes have come out for. We look forward to having you back in TrackTown USA. Come rain or shine, we're always happy to have live track going on. So thank you very much. And thanks to the full production team, Tim, Jay, it's been wonderful working with you.
Sasha, I'll echo that. Jay, we don't want too much mutual backflapping going on. I mean, I know Atlanta Track Club and Oregon Track Club have each donated $1,000 to the cause. And if any of you guys watching out there want to chuck in a few bucks, it would be so welcome. Please do donate. Returnofthejewel.org is the cause, and there is the way you can make the donation. There are two fabulous causes, but it is very much track and field athletics almost back in Atlanta and in Oregon. We're all hoping that maybe we can get some track meets in towards the tail end of this 2020 summer. Jay, final word from you?
Well, Tim, I talked to every athlete yesterday, about how they were feeling, and I asked them all the same question. What's your relative fitness? What kind of shape are you in? And they all said, I don't know. I haven't raced anybody. They've been training all season like there's going to be a season, but no opportunities to race. So this was a really great opportunity for them to do that. And it's really exciting to kind of get an answer to those questions. But anytime we can be in the same sentence with Oregon Track Club Elite and TrackTown USA, we're just honored. And it was great. They're great partners to work with. This has been a lot of fun. We all learned something new. None of us have ever done anything like this before. And we hope to get to do more like it in the future. And Tim, it's almost 1 a.m. in the UK, so we appreciate you staying up late with us.
Well, it is 1 a.m. and I probably won't be able to get to sleep for about another 3 or 4 hours. So I'll get a good movie on, crack open a couple of tinnies and enjoy my evening as though it was about 9 o'clock at night, I think. But listen, guys, I think it just remains for me to say goodbye and hand out a few thanks. Additional thanks to TrackTown Productions, of course, for producing this show. And Running City USA, I know, would like to thank Landmark Christian School and Mercedes-Benz of Buckhead, while TrackTown USA would like to express their appreciation to Hamlin Middle School, the City of Springfield, and Archimoto. And that is it, folks. It's goodbye for Sasha Spencer-Atwood in TrackTown USA, Jay Holder in Georgia. I'm Tim Hutchings in the UK. Thank you for watching, and good night. Bye-bye.